we're going to talk about a particular prime. Prime ship parts efficiency. I feel like that was the one that we were going to talk about. There's a research event going on. Did I just see that right? Yes. Limited time, ranked research event. Okay. So let's take a look at what we got going on here. So if I wanted to upgrade, we'll take a look at one component here. I need my snipping tool. Where's my snips? Let's do it this way. There we go. So it would currently cost me 10,099 ship parts to upgrade this one component. And this particular prime, which I think is in here. Nope. Is it in Galaxy or is it in Station? Where is this particular prime hiding? It's in Station, isn't it? Okay. That would make the most sense, I guess. So the ship part ones. No. Oh. Is it here? It's here. It's in the X-Borg one. Okay, wow. Thank you very much, Ace. So, we've got the new trees. We've got the G4 prime parts cost, which is supposed to increase the base component efficiency by 50%. Now, we also know that there are other things that modify that value. There is other research going on, so it's not just going to be a static 50% decrease. I'm not just going to see this go from needing 10,099 to suddenly drop to, 6,000 or 5,500. Because if I go to stfc.space and I look up my pilum is tier 6. So let's just do this for a second. So this is tier 6, so I'd be going from tier 6 to tier 7. This component, Tritanium Armor, MK6, Mark 6 here, Tritanium Armor. So this should cost me 4,100 gas, 4,300 crystal, 23,000 uncommon, 280,000 interceptor parts, 14 billion tritanium, and 600 million dilithium. So this is what it should cost for that one component. So 23,000 ship parts is what it should cost. Because of research and things that I already have, it's already been reduced by over 50% down to about 11,000. It goes from 23,000 down to 11,000. So if I add an extra modifier to that, so let's just do the math. So $47.6%. So that's like 150% reduction. So if I do a 200% reduction, Is that what it's going to save me? Another 1,100 ship parts? Because it's already being modified by multiple other things. Yeah, so it's already over half off. So now you're talking about, again, watering down the pool a little bit. Does it make it cheaper? Yes. Is this a roadblock for leveling up multiple ships? Absolutely. But how much value and how much of an investment are we really going to see, or how return on this investment are we really going to see? That is an outstanding question. What else is in this pack? Because this is all you need to do it. So you get Latinum, you get Tritanium, you get a little bit of parts of 4-star materials, which actually isn't bad. No ship parts or anything, which of course would make things too easy, and then some multiphasics. 14,000 multiphasics with the current event going on in the web store. $14,000 multiphasics only gets me to the first milestone, which gets me 4 Jadzia shards. So it's not even giving a big extra benefit there. Gets me closer to the second one, but not a huge return on investment there either. So now the question is how much extra am I really saving? And if I think my math was even remotely close to being in the right ballpark, I mean, I think it's going to save me about 1,100 parts off this one component. So if I saved 1,100 there, another 1,100 there, we'll call that 4,000. This is the big one. If these are 3,300, now we're talking about 7,000. So maybe it saves me 10 to 12,000 parts total when I need about 120,000 parts to do this whole tier. So yeah, so it's like a 10% reduction on everything else because of the other modifiers that I have going on, which isn't bad. And at the rate at which you can source ship parts, it certainly does help expedite things. And when you're trying to push some ships, and again, it's going to be it's for all your G4 ships. So if I want to keep leveling up my Pilum, and if I finally do get my Tribune, it's going to save me on those ship parts as well. And if I ever wanted to go back and work on, you know, moving the Valdor up or moving the Kelvin up so I could then scrap it to get more parts and things. I mean, the scrapping mechanism is pretty bad, but it would at least open that door as a possibility and make it a little more efficient to level it up for that, but you'll notice it more when your ship needs rare parts. That's also a thing too. Let's take a look at that. When does the Pilum switch over to needing rare parts? So going from 6 to 7, I want to say it's like tier 9. So going from 6 to 7, I'm not noticing much of a difference there yet. 7 to 8 is still, again, a lot of parts and a lot of gas and things like that. And if I want to go to 9, we're still just using common and uncommon parts. It's not until I get to 10, when I try to go to 9 to 10 is where it suddenly jumps. Now I'm using rare parts and epic gas and epic crystal. But that's not until you're trying to go to tier 10 that you're seeing that big switch there. Hold that thought for 1 second. Do do. Do 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 do. Okay. All right. I've been a good boy. And I'll make sure to claim my 4 Jadzia shards for that as well, which automatically just get dumped. There's no pop-up in-game, they just get dumped into your inventory. Alright, so... let's find out just how much of a dent this actually makes. Let's find out how much of a dent this actually makes. We'll give everybody 30 seconds to get some helps to lower that cost. Save me a few hours there. We have our screenshot saved. So I think it was going to be around 1100 is kind of what we speculated. It'd be about 10% of a reduction, but we shall know for sure in just a second. Kill First is saying 2100 for the armor component. I like your math better than mine. I hope yours is right, but I'm starting with 1100. That's where I'm setting my expectations. So if it comes in above that, I'll be very happy with the result. Let's use up those. Let's use up some of those. All right, so that's done. Now, hey, I think your math might have been right. So that went from, let's shrink this. We're going to shrink that down, and then we're going to zoom in. So it went from 1099 to 8877. So 2100. Look at that. Kill First. Your math was pretty much spot on there. Well done, sir. Well done, sir. Maverick, you're late to the party. Did your other account get the treasury? No, it did not get the treasury. The last update was, as of today, that there is still no update on the treasury. Hence the video I released earlier today, sort of highlighting the fact that the treasury has not been upgraded or fixed yet for players, and that there are still a large percentage of people, especially some free-to-play, that do not have access to the treasury this month. And that's something that needs to be drawn attention to on a widespread widespread level. There you go. And hopefully they get that fixed before the actual event ends. But no, what we were doing right here is the new 4-star prime efficiency for ship parts. And that went ahead and that did lower it about 2,100 parts. So that was an additional almost 20% reduction over what we had. Almost exactly a 20% reduction. Yeah, went down to 80%. So about a 20% reduction is what I noticed based on my current research and things like that and efficiencies, is what the new prime 4-star ship part efficiency did for my components. So before I needed about 120,000. Kill First, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. Dave Mon, thank you very much for the follow. Stewie chiming in 5 minutes afterwards saying he thinks it's going to be 2,100. Well played, Stewie, well played. So now we went down, so now we're at 9, 18, 25, 30, 69, 73, 83, 93, and 5, 98,000. So I went from about 120,000 parts down to about 98,000 parts to do this whole tier. It's a 20,000 part savings, which is pretty awesome. And if you think about what that means in terms of actual in-game value, 20,000 parts in multi-phasics interceptor pack here, I get 219 per pack. If you get 14,000 multi-phasics per $100, means I can open 28 of these bundles. 219 times 28 would get me 6,000 parts. So if I were just strictly buying multi-phasics, 6,000 parts, I would need to do this pack 3 extra times. So that'd be like $300 worth of multi-phasics to get, 19,000 parts to get those extra ship parts. And if I'm looking at what a purchase in the actual pay store gives in terms of ship parts, somewhere in here, once you get past. It's funny, they added all these folders at the end, and now there's so many specialty things, you still have to scroll to find the folders. These are all the station upgrade packs. Where are the ship upgrade packs? How am I not seeing it? I'm sure it's right there. I'm sure I'm just blind. These are the ship unlocks. These are the specialty ship upgrades. These are the different faction ships. Are they in here? Yes, they're in here. So the Ultra Interceptor Power Pack that's in here, this would give me 8,800 parts. So I would have to buy 2.5 of these bundles to make up the parts that I just saved from making that other purchase. Now I'd get more materials out of it. There's a lot more materials in here. But yeah, it seems like that's overall a fairly substantial savings. It's a longer term investment, right? And you're going to see a payoff because it impacts all of your ships. So if I do want to upgrade, go back and upgrade my Valdor, or when I eventually get my Tribune, if I want to upgrade that, I've now made all of those things easier to do. And at some point in time when they release G6 content, if they make any updates to G4 scrapping, now that mechanic becomes a little better as well for now sourcing G5 materials. Because right now it's not very good. It's not very good at all. If we take a look at, like, if I wanted to scrap a Kelvin, if I wanted to, if I maxed out a Kelvin and wanted to scrap it, what would it cost me to max it? it would cost me a grand total of, again, we figure we cut these numbers in half, right? So I'm spending 200,000 rare crystal, 500,000 interceptor parts, give or take, to level it up all the way. And what am I getting out of it in return? 5-star uncommon parts, 44,000. I spent 500,000 parts upgrading it, so I get 44,000 of the next tier. It's a pretty terrible return on investment. I'm spending millions, trillions of titanium, dilithium, millions of, other parts in here, hundreds of thousands of gas and crystal, and we're getting 1,700. It's like a 10% return on investment, which is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So if they make this a little better, having this prime now makes this also a little better. So it improves the efficiency from both sides of the equation. So, but at least now we know kind of what that prime does and how it works, and hopefully that will guide all of you in terms of making your decision about whether or not it's worth an investment. I'm not upset by it. I'm not upset by it. Let's go ahead and get this one done. We'll take some more shield health because, well, you never have too much of that, right?